So, at your initial glance, you may think this is a pretty interesting matchup. We have Shiva, the winner of round 5, labelled as the strongest Indian god, versus Buddha, the winner of round 6, and the strongest adolescent. However, the truth is, the fight really isn't that close. Buddha kinda destroys Shiva in Record of Ragnarok, and I don't think it's really that close. Did that annoy you? I hope not, because it's just a joke. The truth is, Buddha absolutely destroys Shiva. Now, let me explain. First off, Buddha has the ability known as future vision due to his enlightenment, which allows him to see a moment ahead in a fight, at least according to Brunhilde here. As such, when Buddha fights, he moves before his opponent attacks and sets up every counter needed, and he'll always know what's going to happen next. This is for the following reason. He's able to see fluctuations of the soul. For example, in the Record of Ragnarok world, whenever a person decides on a course of action or what they're going to do, the soul of that person moves before the physical body, and Buddha can see this soul move. So in a fight, he would see Shiva move, the soul of Shiva move, and then already know what's going to happen and then can react accordingly and set up a way to counter that. Even if Shiva was to enter his transformation, Buddha will know that transformation is coming and prepare a counter right there. Then all Buddha would need to do is land one of his attacks on Shiva and it's pretty much done. He has this move which could very well split Shiva in half if it lands directly. We have no insight to the durability of Shiva when dealing with weapons like this. It could just slice straight through him and that would be the end of Shiva, or he could potentially tank it, or it could break. The truth is, we don't really know, but if you were to look at the story of Record of Ragnarok, it would make more sense that it would potentially just cut him. Unless he's in his transformation, you could see it maybe melting the weapon or having some other effect where it doesn't really do the amount of damage you would expect it to do. That's just looking at the Record of Ragnarok world and how they'll kinda write it into the story, in my opinion. I'm guessing some of you watching today's video have already mentioned Shiva's dance and how it's labelled as unpredictable. The thing is, Buddha isn't predicting with this ability, he's outright seeing the future and knowing what's going to happen. This ability may work on someone like Sasaki because his whole thing is predicting and scanning. However, it won't really work on Buddha. Buddha will see Shiva moving, he'll know where the unpredictable nature is going to go because he already sees the soul going to the next spot, and then just land an attack right there and then hit Shiva mid-dance, and then that'll be the end of him. Before I continue, let me know down below what other matchups you would like to see me cover, and also subscribe if you're a Record of Ragnarok fan. That's what I provide on this channel. I've done many matchups already and various other Record of Ragnarok videos. It's greatly appreciated. So the way I see their fight actually occurring, if it was to happen, Shiva starts bouncing around, maybe uses his dance. Buddha is aware of where he's going to go. He prepares his emotion in some regard, as Buddha's weapon apparently, according to these panel, transforms based on emotion. But a few instances you can kind of see Buddha control that in some regard. So my personal belief is he has some control over what the weapon transforms into. However, in some instances combined with his future sight, it will naturally transform without him really needing to think too much, making it pretty much faster and easier to set up for various counters, for an example. So we could have Shiva dance around, Buddha uses his future vision, sees where Shiva's going, transforms his weapon into the club and then whacks him down. Shiva gets like flying knocked back, as this did pretty significant damage to the likes of Zero with a single attack. Then Shiva potentially gets up, maybe gets his resolve, everything like that, tries attacking again. Maybe Buddha transforms his weapon into the halberd and just like stabs him. Shiva gets damaged even more, and then I guess enters his Tandava Karma, his transformation. Buddha will know the transformation is coming. He'll probably have a similar look to what he did when he saw Hajun actually come out, but probably not as severe, as Buddha's crazy reaction to Hajun was partly due to him not knowing what's going to happen, as Hajun was the natural counter to future vision as his pure darkness. Shiva won't have this natural counter whatsoever. So Buddha will know the transformation is coming, will be like, oh yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. And then as a response, we could see him pull out his shield to block the initial attack. Maybe Shiva uses his kick straight away. Buddha pulls out his shield, blocks that kick. Maybe Shiva's strong enough to actually break the divine shield. Arjuna's able to pierce through it. So Shiva in his transformation could potentially do it. I wouldn't be that shocked and it would make sense. So maybe he like blocks it but breaks the divine weapon. Then he could pull out his scythe and then a direct attack from this should pretty much one-shot Shiva in my opinion. Unless he's able to react in time, but with future vision in mind, I don't think that's really going to happen. So as the series pretty much says, Buddha's future vision is a cheat move. And I think Buddha in various matchups kind of just outright wins because of this ability. There's a few other characters who will be able to counter it and be somewhat comparable to him in other regards, but characters that don't have a way to deal with it kind of get destroyed, and I think Shiva is unfortunately one of them. So one thing to take note of is once Shiva lands a combo, he progressively gets faster when he's fighting. That's a way for Shiva to potentially get faster than the likes of Buddha, as there's really no way to prove base to base or really transformation to even transformation which one of the two base speed is faster than the other. But with this in mind, Shiva can get faster as the fight goes. That requires him to land his combo and Buddha can shut it down straight away. Since I'm a nice guy, I'll give one situation where Shiva would actually win this fight. If both of them were just to outright throw hands, similar to how Buddha and Zero ended their fight with them just throwing hands, Shiva, I think, throwing hands with Buddha should win, regardless of future sight. Shiva is regarded as heaven's greatest brawler, so when it comes to skill of hand-to-hand combat, Shiva should be the best. Yes, Buddha has future vision, however when dealing with Tandava Karma, you're damaged when you attack and when you defend. So if Buddha was to strike Shiva with his Tandava Karma transformation out, he would eventually get burnt, and then I guess Shiva will just be able to counter. I think in that situation it's heavily in Shiva's favour. Matchups as a whole where they don't really involve the use of weapons, I think Shiva does very well. However, if a weapon's involved and they have another pretty broken ability, that's where Shiva is pretty much in a lot of trouble. Characters like Zeus can get away with this due to being able to stop time, but Shiva doesn't really have a way to deal with stuff like this. So as a whole, Buddha destroys Shiva, it's not really close, and that's pretty much everything. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out all the other stuff in the description. If you want to talk more about Ragnarok, consider joining the Discord. Follow my Twitter if you haven't already, I post various stuff on there if you're interested. And of course, shout out to the Mad Lads who support the channel via the Patreon. But that's it guys, peace.